Another baseball stream. Here is going to be the Padres and the Phillies tonight on my stream here tonight. Hope y'all are having a good weekend so far. My name is John. My YouTube handle is Sports Bonanza John. You can follow me on there. Appreciate a like and subscribe if you like the content on here. And also on Kick tonight, Sports Kick John. This is my second stream on Kick. Do have some Twitch streams on Twitch as well. Sport Guru John is my handle on Twitch tonight. So really hope y'all are having a great weekend. We've got the Phillies and the Padres tonight, two teams with serious postseason aspirations. In the second of a three-game series, as we are right before the All-Star break here. Tomorrow, the last day before the All-Star break. And the Padres took the opener of the series last night, 4-2. Yu Darvish on the mound tonight for the Padres. He will be facing Zach Wheeler of the Phillies. Yu Darvish just came into the pitching rotation just a couple of games ago. He had missed a lot of the first half of the season, but he is on the mound tonight. And actually just his second start of the season, lost his previous outing. Went just 3 2/3 innings in that one. Going to keep his innings down tonight as well. So it's going to be a heavy bullpen night, you would think, for the Padres. Meanwhile, Zach Wheeler, 9-3 on the season for the Phillies on the mound, as they will get set tonight, Phillies and Padres. On all my live streams, before we begin anything, I do start with a prayer beforehand, so we will start on that right now. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for looking over us, and please protect all these players and protect everyone tonight and look over us all on this night, beautiful evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. As I mentioned, 2 games left before the All-Star break for the finale of this 3-game series is tomorrow. And then, of course, the All-Star break hits. Home Run Derby Monday night, All-Star game on Tuesday. Season will resume after that on Friday. Baseball, one of those strange scheduling quirks. The All-Star break actually hits well past the midway point of the season. Season started in late March, and we are here mid-July before we hit the All-Star break. And once they resume from the All-Star break, we're only going to have a little over 2 months left in the regular season before postseason play begins. And these two teams have had serious postseason aspirations. Looking not only postseason aspirations, but deep postseason aspirations on both these teams' mind. The Phillies and the Padres, they are right there. Here as we hit the midway point of the season. Phillies on top of the National League East, the Padres in that battle in the National League West. Picked up a little bit of ground on the Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers just snapped a 7-game losing streak earlier today. 7-game losing streak, the longest losing streak in quite a while for the Dodgers. They did finally snap that earlier today against their arch rival Giants. Of course, we'll keep you updated on all the baseball scores around the country tonight as well. A full slate of Major League Baseball. Big story happened in Minneapolis today with Byron Buxton of the Twins. We'll tell you about that after a while, as it was quite the big game for him and a big game for the Twins as well against the Pirates. We'll talk about that a little bit here as the night progresses. But it's the Phillies and the Padres. If any of you are catching my stream for the first time, I do want to point out I have been doing a few streams now, and if any regular viewers know this, but if any first-time viewers are tuning in, there is my YouTube TV is my TV handle. There is a lag between the live action and what I am bringing you. I am aware of that. There's just unfortunately nothing really I can do about that. So there will be, if you're following me for the first time, there will be that lag between the live action and the action that I am bringing you. So I just wanted to point that out. If any first timers, if you see a little bit of a gap in between the action when I'm good, I know, and just unfortunately, there's just nothing really I'm able to do with that. So I just wanted to point that out. The Phillies and the Padres tonight. Padres took the opener, as I mentioned last night, 4-2 in Game 1 of this series. 72 degrees, pretty pleasant for a Southern California summer day. And a packed house in San Diego, as they usually do, there at Petco Park. As we are just about set to go, as Trey Turner will lead it off for the Phillies. He'll be followed by Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, the cleanup hitter, Castellanos, Stott, JT Realmuto, Kepler, and Marsh round out the batting order tonight for the Phillies. Mentioned Yu Darvish getting his second start of the season. Made his season opener this past Monday in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks. Went 3 2/3 innings, suffered the loss in that game against the Diamondbacks. Probably going to limit him to about 4 innings again tonight, I would think. Just get him back in the groove here with just his second start of the year, as it's been a little while since he'd been on the mound. Just kind of ease him into play. So I wouldn't expect to see him more than 4 innings at most tonight. So here we go. Trey Turner will lead things off tonight for the Phillies, hitting .292. 11 home runs, 40 runs driven in. He's the National League leader in hits on the season with 111. And we are underway in San Diego. First pitch is a little off the plate, ball 1. And Darvish gets set for the 1-0 pitch to Turner. Such an odd pitching style for Yu Darvish. He starts and then he kind of almost pauses and then brings the delivery to the plate. As Turner fouled that off, it's a ball and a strike. 1-1 pitch on the way from Darvish to Turner. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Run down the umpires tonight. Shane Livensparger, the home plate umpire tonight. Bruce Dreckman is at first base. Nate Tomlinson will be the second base umpire, and Nick Marley is at third base. He called the balls and strikes last night. The 1-2 pitch on the way to Turner from Darvish. Just missed, 2-2. It's about the same spot as that first pitch. That was close. Another 2-2 pitch on the way from Darvish to Turner. Turner hits it in the air to right. That is foul, and that'll reach the seats, and we'll do it again. Darvish again looks and delivers the 2-2 to Turner. On the ground to third. That was a rocket, but the play made there and the first out, and that's how this game begins. Ball hit there to Machado at third base, and he finishes the out. Over to Arise. 1 down in the inning, and it brings up Kyle Schwarber. DHing tonight for the Phillies. Pitch ball 1 to Schwarber. Schwarber hitting .254 on the year, 30 home runs. He's drove in 69. Big power hitter in the Phillies lineup. Darvish's 1-0 pitch is there this time for strike 1, 1-1. Darvish's 1-1 is low, 2-1. Darvish winds at the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Schwarber. And it's now 2-2. Schwarber is a power hitter, but he does strike out a lot. He has struck out 108 times this year. So he is a man you have a good chance of striking out. And here comes Darvish's 2-2 to Schwarber. Down low, and the count goes full. Darvish's payoff pitch to Schwarber. Inside for ball 4, and Schwarber draws a 1-out walk. And it'll bring up Bryce Harper. Hitting third for the Phillies. Hitting .259 with 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Darvish brings it to Harper. Strike 1. Oh, 0-1 the count on Harper, and here comes Darvish's 0-1. Right there again, it's 0-2 now, as Harper's in a hole here. Oh, 2 from Darvish to Harper. Here it comes. Down low, 1-2. Alec Bohm on deck for the Phillies. And the 1-2 from Darvish to Harper. Just missed again. That's been a close pitch, but it's been called consistently a ball so far, and it's 2-2. It's a hard pitch to lay off of. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. On the ground, this could be 2. There's short to second for 1, on to first, an easy 6-4-3 double play. And that will end the top of the first inning, as Darvish gives up the lead, 1-out walk, but gets out of it with the double play. Padres coming up for the first time here in the bottom of the first inning. And the Padres lineup will look like this. Tatis will lead off, followed by Luis Arraez, Manny Machado, Sheets, the cleanup hitter, Xander Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill, Cronenworth, Brooks, and Maldonado will round out the batting order for the Padres. And they are going to face Zach Wheeler tonight, pitching for the Phillies. Great first half of the season for him. He's 9-3 in his 18 starts. ERA just 2.17 for Wheeler. 25 walks, 148 strikeouts in 116 innings. So a great first half of the season for Wheeler. Leading the team in wins, leading the team in ERA, leading the team in strikeouts, as far as the pitching staff goes. During break in the action here, let's run down some of the scores from today around Major League Baseball. Got this game going on here in San Diego. Also got the Rangers and Astros in action. AL West battle down in Houston. Later on tonight out in Anaheim, Diamondbacks and Angels. And in West Sacramento later, Blue Jays and A's. Finals from earlier, Cubs beat the Yankees in the Bronx 5-2. Mariners all over the MLB best Tigers 15-7 today. Twins 12-4 over the Pirates. Talk about Byron Buxton, what he did in that game. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Braves beat the Cardinals at Busch 7-6. Marlins a 6-0 shutout of the Orioles. Dodgers, I mentioned earlier, broke that long losing streak. They won in San Francisco 2-1. Reds 4-3. They win it on an error in the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox 1-0 over the Rays. Cleveland 6-2 over the White Sox. Mets win in Kansas City 3-1, and the Brewers beat the Nationals 6-5. Here, bottom of the first inning underway. Tatis will lead it off against Wheeler, and a swing and a miss for strike one. Tatis on the season hitting .266, 16 home runs, 42 RBIs. He will be in the All-Star game on Tuesday night. Tatis ground. That's going to be a tough play for the shortstop. The quick throw, but made at first base for the first out. And it'll bring up Luis Arraez. Arraez, a .282 hitter on the season. As Wheeler brings it. And a little off the plate, ball one. 97 on the fastball that time for Wheeler. Arraez mentioned a .282 hitter. He's got 5 home runs on the year. He's drove in 35. Wheeler's 1-0 is fouled. 1-1 now to Luis Arraez. Wheeler working very, very quickly on the mound as he brings the 1-1. Arraez sends it in the air, center field. Play made out there in center field by Marsh, and there's the second out in the bottom of the first. 2 down in the inning brings up Manny Machado. Padres leader in batting average, home runs, and RBIs, and hits. .292 average, 17 home runs, 55 runs driven in, 105 hits on the season, all team highs for the Padres. Machado takes inside for ball one. Wheeler gives the 1-0 to Machado. Way high, 2-0. High 90s on that fastball from Wheeler. To switch the baseballs out here. Wheeler looks, and the 2-1 pitch, or 2-0 pitch rather, to Machado. On the ground to short. Turner gloves, throws across the diamond, and a 1-2-3 bottom of the first for Zach Wheeler. No score after one in San Diego. Phillies and Padres on a Saturday night. The penultimate day of the first half of the season in Major League Baseball. Well, as I mentioned, it's well past the halfway point as far as games played. Penultimate day before the All-Star break is, I guess, how I should have worded that. I was mentioning earlier about that Pirates-Twins game. The Twins beat the Pirates in Minneapolis today, 12-4, but the big story was Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton, it was his bobblehead day in Minneapolis, and all he does in the game today is hits for the cycle on his bobblehead day. The first cycle ever at Target Field, which is, I want to say, 12 years old, I believe that stadium is, somewhere around there. The first time someone's ever hit for the cycle in that ballpark, and fitting that Byron Buxton, the hometown guy, does it on his bobblehead day there in Minneapolis as the Twins beat the Pirates 12-4 in that one. As we are scoreless here through one, as we get set to start the top of the second inning. Rangers scored in the top of the first in Houston, so they lead the Astros 1-0. So heading into the All-Star break, it's going to be the Detroit Tigers with the MLB's best record right now, although they got walloped today at home by the Mariners, but still a fine first half of the season for the Tigers, as they have not only postseason aspirations, very, very deep postseason aspirations up there in Detroit. The Phillies and Padres, of course, wanting to make a deep run in postseason play as well. The Padres have made the World Series. They have never won the World Series. They made it in '84, lost to Detroit, and then made it again in '98, I believe, and lost to the Yankees. Underway, top two, and Bohm is hit by the pitch from Darvish to lead off the top of the second. Got him right in the backside. So a hit by pitch as Bohm reaches, and it'll bring up Castellanos. They have mentioned the starting pitchers for the All-Star game. It's going to be Tarek Skubal, the Tigers pitcher, starting for the American League. Paul Skeens, the great phenom for the Pirates, will get the start for the National League on Tuesday night. All-Star game being played in Atlanta this year. Here's Castellanos. Castellanos takes outside for ball one. Castellanos, a .276 hitter on the season, 12 home runs. He's drove in 51. Bohm at first via a hit by pitch. That is hit down the third base line and just foul. And it'll be a ball and a strike on Castellanos. Bohm at first base, not a stolen base threat. He's only got 2 of those this year. And the pitch is way outside to Castellanos, now 2-1. Yu Darvish in his 13th season in Major League Baseball. Again, just his second start of the season. Castellanos on the 2-1 hits it to left and foul, and it'll be 2-2 now. As we get set for a 2-2 pitch from Darvish to Castellanos. Here it comes. Way outside. That's going to be a serious wild pitch. And that will advance Bohm to second base. That was nowhere even close. The catcher had no chance on that one. So now the Phillies have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. The fact that Maldonado behind the plate even got a glove on that one is miraculous. That was way outside. Here comes the 3-2 payoff pitch to Castellanos. Tapper back to Darvish, backhands it, and a wild throw at first base. And that's going to bring Bohm in to score. Castellanos will be at second base. A throwing error by Darvish gets the Phillies on the board, 1-0. But Darvish backhanded that to get a glove on it. He kind of rushed the throw. I think he had a little bit more time to throw that to first base than he thought he did. He backhanded it, but just airmailed the throw to first base, as Bohm came across to score easily. And the Phillies get a run on the throwing error here in the second inning. And strike one here to the number 6 hitter, Bryson Stott, for the Phillies. hitting .237. 6 home runs. He's drove in 38 on the year. The strike one pitch to Stott is in the air to center. Coming on out there in center field for the catch is Jackson Merrill for the first out. Castellanos has to hold at second. One down here for the Phillies in the second, and it'll bring up the catcher, JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto hitting .258. Got 5 home runs. He's drove in 30. Darvish's pitch to Realmuto was outside for ball 1. (1-0) from Darvish to Realmuto. Realmuto sends it into left center field, and that's going to be a gapper. That's going to bring Castellanos in from second. Realmuto has a double, and it's 2-0 Phillies here in the second. A lot of Philly fans out in San Diego at Petco Park, and they're liking what they see so far. Batter now will be Max Kepler. Kepler, a .211 hitter. He's got 10 home runs. He's drove in 31 on the year. 2 runs second for the Phillies so far, and they're still threatening with only 1 out and a runner at second. Strike 1. Darvish looks in, and the 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. Brought the curveball that time. And here's the 1-1 pitch. On the outside corner, strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes. Goes the 1-2. To first base. Taking it himself there for the second out is Arise. And there are 2 down. Brings up Brandon Marsh, number 9 hitter for the Phillies, hitting .259. He's got 3 home runs. He's drove in 21 on the season. Runner at third now with 2 outs as Marsh sends it in the air to right. Hit pretty well, but playable on the warning track as the catch is made in right field by Tatis to end the inning. Marsh gave it a pretty good ride, but came up a little bit short there as the Phillies settle for 2 in the top of the second. On 2 hits, there was a San Diego error, and they do strand a runner at third. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Again, while we have a bit about my stream here, this is the 3rd Major League Baseball game streamed this week on my channel. Going to take next week off. Be back with you probably next Saturday evening. Got a busy schedule next week, so going to have take the next week off. Be back with you next Saturday. All-Star game going on anyway, so that's the only baseball that's going to be going on. And this stream's going to get full going once football season hits here. A little over a month. We're just a little over a month away from the start of college football. That's hard to believe. I believe 6 weeks from today, I believe, is the what they call week 0 kickoff weekend. So this stream will be, once football season starts, going to be a lot of action on this stream that time of year. Hard to believe it's almost football season. Astros matched the Rangers' run in the top of the first with a run of their own in the bottom half, so that's a 1-1 game after one in Houston. It's a 2-0 lead here for the Phillies as we get set to go to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be the middle third of the Padres order. Gavin Sheets will lead off the bottom of the second for the Padres. Sheets a .265 hitter. He's got 14 home runs. He's drove in 50. As Zach Wheeler back to the hill for the Phillies as he looks for his 10th win before the All-Star break. Coming in at 9-3. -72 night in San Diego. It's unseasonably cool for July there in Southern California. Bring some of that weather here to the Midwest. It's getting mighty steamy here. Bottom two here as Sheets leads off. And the pitch is down low for ball one. One-0 pitch at the knees, strike one. Back-to-back 97-mile-an-hour fastballs from Wheeler. Wheeler's 1-1 pitch to Sheets. Ripped into right field. That's going to be a base hit and roll to the wall. Sheets is going to have an easy leadoff double here in the bottom of the second for the Padres. So the Padres having to play catch-up here early on, trailing 2-0, and there's a good start, a leadoff double here at the bottom of the second for Sheets, and it'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts hitting .264. He's got 5 home runs, and he's drove in 31. Sheets the lead from second, although not a big one, and Bogaerts takes inside for ball one. Really, really tight strike zone from home plate umpire Shane Livensparger tonight. Not a whole lot. It doesn't give you a whole lot of room anywhere. Inside, outside, low, by. There's one on the outside corner, 1-1. One on the way to Bogaerts. It's well inside, 2-1. Bogaerts looks in at Wheeler and gets set for the 2-1. Bogaerts in the air to right center. That's going to be a tough play, but a running catch made out there in right center field by Marsh. And there's the first out. Sheets has to hold at second. And the batter will be Jackson Merrill. Merrill hitting .258. He's got 5 home runs. He's drove in 29 on the season. Merrill takes ball one. Two teams with postseason aspirations. Phillies currently leading the NL East. They've been in a battle with them and the Mets pretty much the whole first half of the season for first place there in the NL East. Phillies have it right now. Merrill sends it pretty well into left. Back at the wall, and it's gone. Jackson Merrill sends it out for the 6th time this year, and the Padres tie it up at 2 apiece. Home run number 6 for Merrill. RBIs 30 and 31. And the Padres even things up here in the bottom of the second. Thought Kepler may have had a play on it out there in left field. I think he thought he might have had a play on it, but ran out of room as that ball just kept going. And Jackson Merrill hits it out for the 6th time, his first home run since May the 27th. So his home run drought is over. His personal home run drought is over. Jake Cronenworth is the batter here, and he's now ahead 2-0. Cronenworth hitting .237. 8 home runs. He's drove in 29. Cronenworth taking all the way and takes strike 1 right down the middle. Two-one swing and a miss. 2-2. Trenton Brooks is DHing tonight for the Padres. He's on deck. And that 2-2, that's hit into right center field and coming on, unable to make the grab in right center field. And up to second base will go Cronenworth. That was a great effort out there in center field by Marsh, but unable to come up with it. And the Padres have another runner in scoring position here in the 2nd inning. As Trenton Brooks, the DH, steps up. Hasn't got a whole lot of playing time. This is just his 20th game of the season. He's hitting .152. He's got a homer and he's drove in 2. So Wheeler running into some problems here in the 2nd inning. Brooks fouls it off for strike 1. Wheeler still bringing the heat at 97 on that fastball. Oh, 0-1 pitch on the way to Brooks. Foul ball, and Brooks is now in an 0-2 hole. Cronenworth at second base. With 1 out here in the 2nd in a 2-2 game. The 0-2 from Wheeler to Brooks. Upstairs, 1-2. Number 9 hitter for the Padres, Martin Maldonado, is on deck. And the 1-2 fouled away. Another 1-2 pitch on the way from Wheeler to Brooks. Down low, 2-2. Two just missed outside, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Cronenworth at second. Wheeler looks in and gets set for the payoff pitch to Brooks. Here it comes. Got him. Brooks strikes out. And Wheeler with his first strikeout of the game. And it will bring up Martin Maldonado. with 2 outs. Padre catcher hitting .175 with 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Maldonado takes ball 1. One-zero pitch from Wheeler to Maldonado. Inside, 2-0. Again, just off the corner. Two-zero pitch, that's right there down the middle. Strike 1, 2-1. Outside of Tatis and Bogarts, this is not a heavy stealing team, stolen base team, are the Padres. You will not see them outside of Tatis and Bogarts. There's a swing and a miss. Outside of Tatis and Bogarts, this is not a team you will see be super aggressive on the base paths. Take those two out of the equation, Tatis and Bogarts. The team as a whole only has a combined 29 more stolen bases. Tatis and Bogarts, them two themselves, have combined for 33. Here's the 2-2. In the air to right, coming on. That's going to drop for a base hit. The Padres are going to take the lead as Cronenworth scores from second. RBI single for Maldonado, and the Padres take the lead 3-2. Martin Maldonado drives in his 10th run of the season. As we reset now to the top of the order in Tatis. Tatis bunts and bunts foul. So Wheeler, with the 3 runs he's given up so far in this one, he had only given up 3 earned runs total in his last 6 starts prior to this one. So he's getting roughed up a little bit in this one by the San Diego offense. Maldonado at first base. Tatis looks in and gets the 0-1 from Wheeler. Down low, 1-1. Tatis started to swing but held up. One pitch. Down low, 2-1. Maldonado, very short lead at first base, and the 2-1 from Wheeler to Tatis, swing and a miss, 2-2. Two pitch, way outside, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Maldonado will be taken off from first here as it's a 3-2 payoff pitch to Tatis. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Tatis didn't like it. And that'll end the inning, but a 3-run bottom of the second for the Padres. Jackson Merrill 2-run homer and an RBI single from Martin Maldonado has the Padres up 3-2 after 2 in San Diego. Rangers and Astros still 1-1. They're through 2 down at what's it called now? Daikin Field down in Houston. This is Minute Maid Park for the longest time. I believe it's called Daikin Park, Daikin Field now. Down in Houston. They're heading to the third there. Again, finals from earlier. Cubs beat the Yankees 5-2. Mariners all over the MLB best Tigers today, 15-7. Twins 12-4 over the Pirates. And again, the story in that game, Byron Buxton hitting for the cycle, the first ever cycle in Target Field history. Braves over the Cardinals 7-6 at Busch. Marlins shut out the Orioles 6-0. Marlins have been on a little bit of a roll to right and going the All-Star break, putting themselves in a little bit of the playoff picture. Don't think anybody had, before the season started, don't think anybody had the Marlins as a possible playoff team. That's indeed the case right now. Dodgers, mentioned, broke that 7-game losing streak, beating the Giants 2-1. Reds 4-3 over the Rockies. They won it on an error in the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox 1-0 over the Rays. Cleveland, a win over the White Sox 6-2. Mets win in Kansas City 3-1. Brewers continue the Nationals' woe 6-5. And coming up later, out west in Anaheim, Diamondbacks and Angels. And coming up a little later on out in West Sacramento, the A's and the Blue Jays. And here in this one, it is 3-2. Phillies scored 2 in the top of the second. The Padres answered with 3 here in the bottom of the second. And the Phillies will bring the top of the order up here in the third inning. Trey Turner, and he takes strike one. Oh, 1 down low, 1-1. Hugh Darvish back out there for the third. Went 3 2/3 in his season debut on Monday in Arizona. Got the loss in that one. 1-1 pitch is a strike, 1-2. Trey Turner grounded out his first time up to lead off the game back in the first. And the 1-2 pitch from Darvish to Turner on the way. Outside, 2-2. Bet you're going to take the week off. Busy schedule this week, so we're going to take the week off of streaming. Plan on being with you back here next Saturday evening. For another baseball stream. As Turner swings and misses for strike 3. Darvish with his first strikeout. Be with you next Saturday night, probably for a stream between the Red Sox and Cubs, is the tentative plan. One down for the Phillies here in the third, and here's Kyle Schwarber. Strike one. Schwarber walked his first time up. Darvish looks in and delivers the 0-1 to Schwarber outside, 1-1. Another big crowd on hand at Petco Park. One pitch. Down low, 2-1, as that gets away from the catcher Maldonado. Two-one. Inside, 3-1. 3-1 on the ground to first. Arias plays it himself for the second out as he beats Schwarber to the bag. 2 down in the inning. And it will bring up Bryce Harper. Two out, nobody on for the Phillies here at the top of the third. Ball 1. Harper hit into a double play that ended the top of the first for the Phillies. And here's the 1-0 from Darvish. Inside, 2-0. Here comes the 2-0. Harper hits it foul. 2-1. Foul ball ended up in the Padres dugout. Two 1. Harper rips it into right field. That's going to get down and off the bottom of the wall. Harper rounding first, and Harper is in at second with a 2-out double here in the third inning. So Bryce Harper with an extra base hit. And it'll bring up Alec Bohm. Bohm hits it right back to Darvish. Darvish over to a rise, and that'll do it for the Phillies in the top of the third. They get a 2-out double from Bryce Harper, but strand him right there as we go to the bottom of the third. It's the Padres 3 and the Phillies 2. Phillies mentioned leading the National League East. Padres currently third in the NL West. But gained a bit of ground on the Dodgers this week, with the Dodgers going on that 7-game losing streak that was snapped today against their arch rival Giants. Rangers and Astros still tied at 1 down in Houston, bottom of the third. And, of course, tomorrow, last day before the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. Home Run Derby coming up on Monday. All-Star Game coming up on Tuesday. And the season will resume that following Friday. A couple of surprising division leaders right now in Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays leading the American League East. Don't know that a whole lot of people saw that coming this year. Great season for the Blue Jays, at least the first half of it. Tigers, a lot of people thought the Tigers might be a good team this year. Don't know that a whole lot of people had them as Major League Baseball's best team going to the All-Star break, but that is indeed they are. National League Central, what a competitive. That's really a division that's up for grabs. That is a competitive division. When you list your most competitive divisions in a normal baseball season, National League Central is not normally the first one that comes in play, but it is quite competitive this season. As we begin here in the bottom of the third inning. Two, 3, and 4 for the Padres. Arise will lead it off. He'll be followed by Machado and Sheets as Arise takes ball one. Arise flew out his first time up back in the first inning. Here's the 1-0 from Wheeler, and that gets Arise on the right side. And Arise will take his trot to first base. And it'll bring up Manny Machado. So Machado the batter. Machado 0 for 1 so far on the night. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Machado, Padres leader coming in batting average, home runs, RBIs, and hits. Takes low here, 1-1. Arise at first. Here in the bottom of the third. Padres leading by a run. That's lifted in the air to right and foul. Out of play. Machado eyes Wheeler's 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. Fouled off. And Machado got that off his foot. He's going to have to walk that off. Machado trying to walk that off. He's in a little bit of pain. That got fouled right off his foot. One-two pitch from Wheeler to Machado again. Outside and low, 2-2. Cleanup hitter Sheets is on deck. 2-2 to Machado, just missed, and it's now a full count. Arise leads from first. Will he take off on a 3-2? It's a swing and a miss, and he does not. And Machado strikes out. One down, and it'll bring up Sheets. Sheets takes strike one. Sheets singled and scored back in the 3-run second for the Padres. Padres sent 7 to the plate there in the second inning and getting their 3 runs. 0-1 is lifted in the air to center. At the edge of the warning track, Marsh makes the catch for out number 2. Arise fakes, but heads back to first base. And there are now 2 outs. And it'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. Bogarts lined out back in the second inning. Bogarts takes high for ball one. Wheeler's 1-0 to Bogarts. Inside, 2-0. Arise is at first with 2 outs here in the third. And the 2-0 to Bogarts. That misses. It's now 3-0. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. That is a 4-pitch walk to Xander Bogarts. Rob Thompson, the Phillies manager, having a little discussion there with the home plate umpire, Shane Livensparger. I don't think he's liking some of those ball calls, and Wheeler misses again. That's 5 straight now, missed out of the strike zone from Wheeler. As Jackson Merrill's the batter, he hit the 2-run home run last inning for the Padres that tied it at that point before Maldonado's RBI single gave them the lead. There's a strike called, and Merrill didn't like that call. One the count, and here's the pitch to Jackson Merrill. Swing and a miss on a high one, 1-2. Wheeler brought it 97 again on the fastball. Wheeler's 1-2 to Jackson Merrill on the way, up high, 2-2. No, excuse me, called strike 3. So Merrill caught looking. The Padres do not score. They strand a runner at first. It's 3-2 Padres after 3. Boy, that looked well out of the strike zone, and there hasn't been much of a strike zone outside anywhere, outside, inside, low, high. Hadn't been much extra area there, but Livensparger rang up Merrill on that one. As we head to the 4th inning. Rangers and Astros remain tied through 3.5, 1-1 in Houston. And again, later on, Diamondbacks and Angels in Anaheim, and Blue Jays and A's out in West Sacramento. So the Phillies will be coming up here in the top of the 4th inning, down a run, 3-2. Padres took game 1 of this series last night, 4-2. And looking for the series win tonight against the first place Phillies. So Darvish, this is probably, for Darvish, I'm going to say this is going to be his last inning regardless. They still want to ease him in. went 3 2/3 in his season debut on Monday against the Diamondbacks, suffered the loss in that game. As we are set to begin the top of the fourth in San Diego. And the first pitch in the top of the fourth inning is low for ball one from Darvish to Castellanos. Singled and scored in that two-run second for the Phillies. And Darvish is 1-0 to Castellanos. Inside corner, strike one. Following the All-Star break, the Phillies will host the Angels. Padres will be on the road in the nation's capital against the Nationals. Their first series after the All-Star break. Here's the 1-1 hit foul. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Outside, 2-2. Two-two pitch coming from Darvish to Castellanos. Down low, full count. A lot of these are super, super close pitches. Here's the payoff pitch from Darvish to Castellanos. On the ground to short, backhanded, and the off-balance throw to first in time to get Castellanos at first base. It was backhanded by Bogarts, and the throw over to first to Arise to get Castellanos by half a step. One out here in the fourth. We'll bring up Bryson Stott. Stott is 0 for 1, and Darvish brings strike one to Stott. Darvish is 0-1 to Stott. Here it comes. Down low. Ball to strike. Darvish is 1-1 to Stott. Inside corner, strike two. Stott didn't like that call. But a lot of these players so far haven't been real pleased with home plate umpire. Here's the 1-2 from Darvish to Stott. On the ground to second. Play made over at first base for out number 2 as Cronenworth makes the play. Two down in the inning, and it'll bring up JP Realmuto. Realmuto drove in a run in that two-run second for the Phillies. Ball one to Realmuto. One 1-0 pitch from Darvish to Realmuto. to short. Bogarts on target to first, and that will retire the Phillies 1-2-3 in the top of the fourth inning. Bottom four coming. It's the Padres 3 and the Phillies 2. So Darvish does make it through 4 innings. Will he be back out there for the 5th? We shall see. If he can make it through 5 and the Padres can have the lead through 5, he would stand to pick up the win. Rangers and Astros remain tied 1-1, bottom of the 4th in Houston. Run down all the baseball scores for you again after this half inning. A lot of action took place earlier today. Got 2 West Coast games on the docket coming up here in just a little bit. About an hour away from first pitch in Anaheim between the Diamondbacks and Angels. And about an hour and 20 minutes or so away from first pitch in West Sacramento between the Blue Jays and the A's. It's a 3-2 lead here for the Padres over the Phillies. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. On a 72-degree night in Southern California and San Diego. Beautiful evening down there. It'll be the bottom third of the Padres order coming up against Zach Wheeler here in the bottom of the 4th. The Cronenworth, Brooks, and Maldonado. Do have a defensive change to tell you about for the Phillies at third base. Edmundo Sosa comes into the game. Replaces Baum at third base. And Wheeler back out there as he faces Cronenworth here in the bottom of the 4th and inside for ball 1. Think Baum might have gotten injured. That's the reason he's being taken out of the game. He might have gotten injured when on that hit by pitch he suffered earlier in the game. And it's now 3-0 to Cronenworth, and those 3 pitches were not close. .30 taken all the way, and that's a strike at the knees. 2-1. .3-1 pitch. Into left, but right at, not quite out into left field, as that was caught by the third baseman Sosa. So Wright coming in right into the game. Sosa gets a play in the field defensively and makes the catch for the first out. Mentioned earlier, both teams with serious, deep postseason aspirations. Padres have made the World Series twice, have never won it yet. The Phillies won the series back in 2008. They have 2 championships. It's Trenton Brooks, the batter here for the Padres. He's 0 for 1, struck out his last time up back in the 2nd inning. And these 2 teams right there in the playoff picture here at the All-Star break in the National League. Brooks sends that one into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Trenton Brooks with a 1-out single here in the bottom of the 4th for San Diego. And it will bring up Martin Maldonado. Drove in a run, the third run in that 3-run second inning for the Padres. That's the difference in this game so far. Jackson Merrill, a 2-run homer that inning, and Maldonado followed it up with an RBI single later on in the inning. Maldonado fouls that off for strike one. Brooks was taken off, too, on that pitch. Brooks does not have a stolen base yet this year. He was going for one there, but it was a foul ball. And here's the 0-1 to Maldonado. It's now 0-2 as he fouls it off. Brooks taking the lead at first base, not quite as big of a lead as he had on that stolen base attempt 2 pitches ago. And Maldonado, did he hold up? He did not, and Maldonado is a strikeout victim. 5th of the game for Wheeler, and 1 down here in the 4th. As we're back to the top of the order now, Fernando Tatis. Tatis 0 for 2 so far in the game. Here's the 1-0 pitch to him. 2-0. Wheeler, the reigning National League Pitcher of the Month. He was named National League Pitcher of the Month for the month of June. Had the one bad inning in this one back in the 2nd. And there's a throw over to first as Brooks dives back in. Brooks, another lead from first base. And the 2-0 pitch. That's high, 3-0. Brooks tried a steal earlier on the previous batter. Will he try a steal again here with a 3-0 count? Brooks does not go, and it's a swing and a miss, 3-1. Tatis had the green light there. It looked like he tried to hold up. It was a strike anyway. Three-one pitch is a foul ball, and the count runs full. Now we'll see if Brooks takes a chance from first with the count now full. It's time of the night in Southern California where the batter is in the shade and the pitcher's in the sun. Three-two, a swing and a miss, strike 3. Tatis strikes out. Padres done in the 4th. They strand Brooks at first. Do we go to the 5th? The Padres lead this game 3-2 over the Phillies. Phillies will have 8, 9, and 1. Kepler, Marsh, and Turner due up here in the 5th. Down by a run. And it does look like the Padres will send Darvish back out for the 5th inning. Thought 4 innings might be his max tonight, but looks like he's going to head back out there. He's at 60 pitches right now through 4 innings. Astros grabbed a run in the bottom of the fourth. They've now taken the lead over the Astros in Houston, lead over the Rangers in Houston, 2-1. That game's in the top of the fifth inning. Astros and Rangers. AL West battle, both those teams with postseason aspirations as well. Rangers just 2 years removed from the World Series championship back in 2023. Disappointing season last year for Texas. But they're right there in the playoff picture once again this year. Again, finals from earlier. Cubs 5-2 over the Yankees. Mariners beat the Tigers 15-7. Twins 12-4 over the Pirates. Again, Byron Buxton hitting for the cycle in that game for the Twins. Braves 7-6 over the Cardinals today. Marlins shut out the Orioles 6-0. Dodgers broke their 7-game losing streak, 2-1 win over the Giants. Reds 4-3 over the Rockies. Red Sox a 1-0 pitchers duel win over the Rays. Cleveland 6-2 over the White Sox. Mets win in Kansas City 3-1, and the Brewers 6-5 over the Nationals. And here it's 3-2 Padres as we are heading to the top of the fifth inning. And Darvish back out there to begin the fifth, and ball one inside. To Max Kepler, who was a ground-out victim his first time back in the second inning. Here's the 1-0 way outside, 2-0. And did he swing Kepler? He did not, and it is now 3-0. Three-0 pitch. Taken all the way, and it's a strike. 3-1. Inside, and Kepler draws a leadoff walk here in the fifth inning. It's pitch number 65 from Yu Darvish. And Brandon Marsh is the batter for the Phillies. Tying run aboard at first base here in the top of the fifth. And that's low, ball one. And pitching coach Ruben Niebla for the Padres going out to have a word with Darvish. See if the Padres start to get the bullpen loose here. Has Darvish into his fifth inning of work and started out with a leadoff walk. And it looks like the bullpen is starting to scurry down there. Brandon Marsh flew out back in the second inning. It ended the top of the second for the Phillies. The inning, they scored their 2 runs. before the Padres answered with their 3 in the bottom of the second. That's into left center or left field. There was nobody playing there in the shortstop position, and the Phillies have 2 on with nobody out. Bogaerts was shifted. Of course, you can't do the full shift anymore in baseball, but Bogaerts was not in the normal shortstop position, and Marsh found the hole right there and sent it into left field. And the first 2 aboard for the Phillies here in the 5th. Bullpen is starting to loosen now for the Padres. I believe that was Wandy Peralta warming up. And now we're back to the top of the order and Trey Turner. Turner takes ball 1. Turner has an 0 for 2 night going so far. First 2 on for the Phillies. Nobody out here in the 5th. 1-0 down, 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Again, Trey Turner came into this game leading the National League in hits with 111. Manny Machado was second at 105. As Turner lifts that ball into left field, pretty deep, but it's going to stay in the park. Catch made out there in left field by Sheets. The runner fakes from second, but will hold. And there's the first out, and a big first out for the Padres here in the 5th. As Kyle Schwarber will now step up to the plate. Boy, Turner knows he just missed one there. Nearly the full infield in the shadows now. Last half inning, it was the pitcher was throwing from the sunlight, but the batter was in the shade. Now about the whole infield is in the shade now. 0-1 from Darvish. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 now on Kyle Schwarber. First and second for the Phillies with 1 out, and Schwarber in an 0-2 hole here. And the pitch from Darvish. Got him at the knees. Schwarber strikes out looking. Second strikeout for Yu Darvish, and there's 2 down in the inning. For Bryce Harper. Harper has a 1 for 2 night going. And Harper takes ball 1 low. So the Phillies got the first 2 on here in the 5th, but at first and second, but now with 2 outs, they're still there. And Harper going to try and drive in at least the tying run, going to try and drive them both in here. Harper does have a double in this game. And the pitch from Darvish outside, 2-0 now to Bryce Harper. .20 pitch on the way to Bryce Harper from Yu Darvish. On the ground, foul, first base side. It's now 2-1. Darvish looks in, and the 2-1 pitch to Bryce Harper. Inside and low, 3-1. Darvish looks, and the 3-1 to Harper is foul, and the count runs full, so the runners will be off here on the pitch. Can Darvish get through 5 and be in line for the win? Darvish deals. Runners take off. The 3-2 is fouled back, and we'll do it again. And that was a great pitch for Harper, and he just missed it. Another 3-2. Runners will be off again. Instead, Darvish looks back to second. Runners lead. Runners go. The full count pitch from Darvish to Harper. There they go. Ball 4 outside, and the bases are loaded. And is that going to be it? Mike Schultz still in the dugout right now. Here's Edmundo Sosa getting his first at bat of the game as he came in as a defensive replacement for Baum in the bottom of the 4th. Sosa on the year hitting .276. And Sosa rips it foul, strike 1. Sosa does have 3 home runs on the year. This is probably Darvish's last batter regardless. The pitch on the way to Sosa. Sosa threw it into left field. This is going to tie the game. Rounding third and coming across is Marsh, and the Phillies take the lead 4-3 and safe at third. Is Harper. Sosa ends up at second base. So Sosa, 2-run single, and the Phillies take the lead, and that's going to be the end of the road for Yu Darvish. Tried to make it through 5, but a 2-run single for Edmundo Sosa has put the Phillies ahead 4-3. Darvish does last an inning longer than he did in his first appearance, but will exit with 2 outs in the 5th, now trailing 4-3. And will give way to Haying. Be making just his 6th appearance of the year. ERA of 4.76, pitched 5 2/3 innings. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Does have a win on the season. 28-year-old out of Batesville, Indiana. And he inherits a second and third 2-out situation, as the Phillies have retaken the lead here in the top of the fifth on a 2-run single by Edmundo Sosa. So can he get out of this and with the Padres only trailing by the 1 run? Padres in the bottom of the fifth will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. First pitch swinging is Castellanos, and he fouls it off for strike 1. Second and third with 2 outs. Phillies look to add some insurance. Then Castellanos rips it into right. That's in foul territory and not able to be played over there in right field by Tatis. So Edmundo Sosa came in as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the fourth, and he ends up with a 2-run single and the hit that has given the Phillies the lead back, 4-3. Stilt wanted to get Darvish through 5. Castellanos sends it in the air to right center, and coming on for the grab out there is the center fielder. That's Jackson Merrill to end the inning, but the Phillies plate 2 to retake the lead. They do strand 2 in scoring position. It is 4-3 Phillies at the midway point as we go to the bottom half of inning number 5. Zach Wheeler now once again goes to the hill with a lead. Phillies gave him 2 runs to work with in the top of the second, and the Padres proceeded to score 3 in the bottom of the second. So Wheeler gets some offensive help as his teammates have given him the lead to work with again, as he will face Arias, Machado, and Sheets here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Padres. Run to tell us some baseball scores. The Astros continue to lead the Rangers 2-1. That's now in the 6th. WNBA, one of the, if not the anticipated matchup of the year, coming up tomorrow at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The showdown between Caitlin Clark and the rookie Paige Beckers takes place tomorrow. Caitlin Clark, last year's, of course, fantastic rookie season. Paige Beckers in her rookie season this year for Dallas. Now, Dallas is not having a good year, but still a highly anticipated matchup between Clark and Beckers in the WNBA tomorrow. So 4-3, the Phillies lead this game here as we are heading to the bottom of inning number 5. It's going to be 2-3-4 for the Padres. Arias, Machado, and Sheets against the reigning National League Pitcher of the Month, Zach Wheeler. So Arias leads off for the Phillies. Or for the Padres, rather. He's 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. So Zach Wheeler back to work here. And the first pitch is ball 1. Arias looks in, and the 1-0 from Wheeler. Strike 1. Still bringing it at 97 on the fastball. That was pitch number 77 for Zach Wheeler. And here's the 1-1. Arise fouls it off. It's 1-2 rather. One-two pitch on the way. Fouled away. We'll do it again. Fans still in the bright sunlight in San Diego. The 1-2 is outside, 2-2. Two-two. In the air. Left center field. Arise knows he just missed that one. The Marsh with the catch out there in left center field for the first out. See the frustration on Arise after he popped that one up into center field. He knows he just missed one. One down here in the Padres' fifth inning, and it brings up Manny Machado. 0 for 2 tonight. And Machado takes off the plate, ball one. And Wheeler misses high on that one. It's 2-0 to Manny Machado. Wheeler delivers the 2-0. There's a strike on the inside corner. 2-1 now to Machado. Ground out and a strikeout in his 2 plate appearances tonight. And a strike here at the knees, 2-2. Two is on the ground to second. Played there by Stott, and the throw to first for the second out. We'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Gavin Sheets. Sheets is 1 for 2. Scored a run in that 3-run second for the Padres. And Sheets fouls it back, strike one. Oh, 1 inside, 1-1. Pitch down low, 2-1. Looking ahead to the Phillies' sixth, it's going to be Stott, Real Muto, and Kepler, 6, 7, and 8. In the order. Here's the 2-1 to Sheets, and it's fouled away. Now 2-2. Wheeler looks in, and the 2-2 pitch to Gavin Sheets on the way. On the ground, a second again. And the Padres retired in order, 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the fifth, as the play right there made by Stott over to Bryce Harper. We head to the sixth. Phillies lead the Padres 4-3, so Wheeler makes it through 5, so he is in line now for win number 10 on the season if the Phillies can keep the lead for these next 4 innings. No, they would love to have add some insurance and add on to this 4-3 lead. It's going to be Stott, Real Muto, and Kepler, 6, 7, and 8, due up here in the 6th inning for the Phillies. Four runs, 5 hits. No errors for the Phillies. They've left 4 on so far. They've left 4 men on base so far. 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Padres. They have also left 4 men on base to this point. Down in Houston, Astros continuing to lead the Rangers 2-1. Gabe in the bottom of the 6th inning. About 20 minutes away from first pitch between the Diamondbacks and the Angels out in Anaheim. And about 45 minutes away from first pitch in West Sacramento between the Blue Jays and the A's. Everything else played earlier today has gone final. Another rundown of the baseball scores for you here in the next inning or so. It is a 4-3 lead for the Phillies as they scored 2 in the second. Padres answered with their 3 in the bottom of the second to lead at 3-2, and the Phillies just grabbed 2 in the top of the 5th to retake the lead. 4-3 over the Padres. As we are heading to inning number 6. As Bryson Stott will lead off the 6th for the Phillies. 0 for 2 so far in this game so far. And Stott takes outside on the first pitch of the 6th for ball 1. Stott takes outside, now 2-0. To Stott is lifted in the air, shallow center field. Bogarts goes out for the catch for the first out here in the top of the 6th. 1 down, it'll bring up the catcher, JT Realmuto. He's 1 for 2. He drove in a run for the Phillies in the second. Realmuto takes outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. At the knees, strike 1. Wandy Peralta was loosening earlier in the bullpen for the Padres. He's back up again, loosening some more now. Here's the 1-1. Pop foul, and that'll reach the seats, 1 and 2. One-two pitch on the way to Realmuto. Foul ball. Do it again. Real Muto steps in and awaits for the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Here comes the 2-2. And fouled again. Real Muto, good battle here. And we have another 2-2 pitch upcoming. Here comes another 2-2 pitch on the way to Real Muto. Way outside, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch. Real Muto backhanded by Bogaerts, but is not able to make the play. And Real Muto is going to be aboard at first base. I would guess that's going to be an infield single. That was backhanded by Bogaerts. Real Muto doesn't run spectacularly fast, but that was still going to be a tough play. It'll bring up Max Kepler now for the Phillies. Kepler goes after the first pitch, hits it to third, and a 6-4-3 or 5-4-3 double play to end the top of the sixth. So the Phillies retired in the top of the sixth. That's the second double play turned by the Padres tonight, and it remains 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Head to the bottom of the sixth here. They're heading to the seventh in Houston. Astros continue to lead the Rangers 2-1. Pretty good pitchers duel down there in Houston tonight between two AL West rivals. Once again, this is the next to last day before the All-Star break. All-Star game Tuesday night with the Home Run Derby, always anticipated Home Run Derby, coming up on Monday. All-Star game Tuesday, and the teams get a couple days off, as the season will resume once again on Friday after the All-Star break. And once we resume on Friday, we've only got a little over 2 months left before postseason play will begin. Again, baseball, one of those weird sports. The All-Star break hits well past the halfway point. The season, these teams are going to have, well, just shy of 100 games in before the All-Star break hits. 96, 97 games out of 162. There's been a lot of talk over the years. Does Major League Baseball need to shorten the season? It's been 162 games for eons. I don't know that there's any realistic chance that's going to happen, but 162 games is outside of the strike seasons. That's been a 162 game schedule ever since I remember, ever since I started watching baseball, which is a long time ago. So here we go. Padres trailing by a run here, 4-3, as we get set to take to the bottom of the sixth inning. Zach Wheeler back out there for the sixth, as it's going to be 5, 6, and 7 for the Padres. Xander Bogaerts will lead it off in the bottom of the sixth, and Bogaerts takes strike one. Bogaerts is 0 for 1. He did reach on a walk back in the third inning. 0-1 is inside, a ball and a strike. Wheeler at 93 pitches. And the bullpen is starting to loosen for the Phillies as the 1-1 is foul from Bogaerts. It's now 1-2. That is Tanner Banks warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies. So we might be seeing Wheeler pitch his last inning of the night. 1-2 pitch on the way from Wheeler to Bogaerts. On the ground to second. Routine play there, and the first out here in the bottom of the sixth. We'll bring up Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill, back in the second inning, hit that 2-run home run that at the time tied the game before Martin Maldonado's RBI single put the Padres ahead at the time, 3-2. It held until the top of the fifth when the Phillies scored 2 runs to grab a 4-3 lead, which is where we stand now. Merrill swings and misses for strike one. Looked like he was going for the fence again on that one. That home run back in the second for Merrill snapped a nearly month-and-a-half-long homer drought for Jackson Merrill. Had not homered before that one since May the 27th. 0-2 to Merrill, misses high, 1-2. Wheeler looks in, and the 1-2 pitch to Merrill, down low, 2-2. And this next pitch for Wheeler will be number 100 on the night. And his 100th pitch of the evening. Merrill sends into right center field, hit pretty well, and Merrill's just gone deep again for the second time tonight. Jackson Merrill goes to left center last time. This one goes to right center, and the Padres have tied it up. With Jackson Merrill, this is a way to break out of your month-and-a-half personal home run drought. 2 tonight now for Merrill. Home run number 7, RBI number 32 for Jackson Merrill, and it will now bring up Cronenworth, who takes ball 1. (1-0) to Cronenworth on the ground to short. Play made over to first base from Trey Turner, and there's the second out. Two down for Trenton Brooks. Brooks is 1 for 2 on the night. Singled his last time up, takes ball 1 here. Brand new ball game here as the Padres have tied it on the Merrill home run. Inside corner, strike 1. Brooks didn't like that call. There have been a few batters not real pleased with the home plate umpire tonight. (1-1) on the way. Sent in the air to left center, but out there is Marsh. Under it, and he's got it to end the inning. But the Padres on the Merrill home run tie this game. On to the 7th we go. Phillies, Padres, 4-4. as the Phillies will have 9, 1, and 2 in the lineup coming up. Marsh, Turner, and Schwarber. Here in the 7th inning. Two teams with over 50 wins tonight. Doing battle, the Phillies and the Padres. Phillies leading the NL East. The Padres currently third in the NL West coming into the day. Padres had that red hot start to the season this year where they started 8-0, I believe, this year. Red hot start for the Padres. Both teams with not only postseason aspirations, but very deep postseason aspirations this year. Phillies they've won the World Series twice, back in 1980 and in 2008. 1980, of course, led by Steve Carlton back in those days for the Phillies. Phillies actually made it back-to-back. They won the World Series in 08, made it again in 09. We're not as fortunate in 09 as they lost that series to the Yankees. Padres have had 2 World Series appearances. 1984, lost to the Tigers, and 1998, they lost to the Yankees. So the Padres still in search of their first World Series title. 4-4 here as we head to the top of the 7th inning. First pitch swinging on the way. Is it lined into left center field, and a running grab out there by Sheets in left field. And 1 pitch, 1 out in the Phillies 7th. As Wandy Peralta is in the game to pitch for the Padres, making his 41st appearance of the year, 3-1 with an ERA of 3.7. Walked 21, struck out 39, and 41 in a third innings. Top of the order now for the Phillies, Trey Turner. Trey Turner hitless in 3 trips tonight. A ground out, a strikeout, and a flyout. Turner lines this one in the gap in left center field. That's going to be a double for Trey Turner here with 1 out in the 7th inning. So the go-ahead run in scoring position for the Phillies with 1 out in the 7th hit of the night for Philadelphia, and it will bring up Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber 0 for 2. He has reached on a walk. Phillies have had the lead 2 previous times in this game, but the Padres have come back each time. Phillies are 3 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position. Schwarber grounds this one to second. It will advance the runner to third. Play made at first base, but there are now 2 outs. And the go-ahead run now 90 feet away. For Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper on the night is 1 for 2. He's doubled and he's reached on a walk. So he's reached base 2 times tonight. and tries to drive in the go-ahead run for the Phillies here in the 7th in a 4-4 game. And a meeting on the mound here amongst all the Padres infielders, along with the battery. Phillies looking to not waste the one-out double and take the lead back. And the Padres trying to get out of this one-out jam here in the 7th. Harper looks, Peralta delivers. Inside, ball 1. Peralta's 1-0 to Bryce Harper. And Harper could not hold up as they appealed to the third base umpire. 1-1. Comes the 1-1. Down low and inside. 2-1. Two-one pitch to Harper. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Harper looks in against Peralta, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Cleanup hitter Sosa on deck. He delivered the go-ahead 2-run single back in the 5th inning that gave the Phillies a 4-3 lead before the Padres tied it on Merrill's second homer of the game in the bottom of the 6th. Harper fouls off a 3-2, and that will get out of play. Peralta looks on. The 3-2. Up high for ball 4, and Harper walks. Runners at the corners with 2 outs for Sosa. Trying to drive in another go-ahead run for the Phillies. Sosa came in as a defensive replacement for Baum. That's going to do it for Wandy Peralta on the mound. Padres bringing in David Morgan to try and get out of this 1st and 3rd situation with 2 outs. Morgan coming on for the 16th time. 0-1 with a 2.41 ERA in 18 2/3 innings. Walked 8 and struck out 21. Inherits a 1st and 3rd situation with 2 outs. And Sosa will be the batter. Had moved to Sosa 1-for-1. He had that 2-run single in the 5th inning that gave the Phillies the lead at the time before the Padres rallied and tied it up. Looking for another go-ahead RBI here. in a 4-4 game with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Here's Sosa stepping in and fouls it off for strike one on the first pitch he sees from Morgan. Morgan looks on and delivers the 0-1 to Sosa. At the knee, strike two. Oh, 2 on the way. It was way low and outside. 1-2. Nice stop back there by Machado. Or Maldonado, excuse me, Machado. Maldonado. Turner at third. Harper at first. 2 outs. Tie game, top of the 7th. And the 1-2 to Sosa. On the way from Morgan. Here it comes. A bouncer. That's going to be a tough play at third. Throw to first in time at first base to get the out. And the Padres get out of it. Fielded there at third base by Machado. He had to hurry to throw. And throws out Sosa by about a quarter of a step. Stretch time in San Diego, 4-4, Phillies and Padres. Rangers got a run in the top of the 7th, but the Astros answered with a run in the bottom of the 7th. So the Astros lead the Rangers 3-2. Top of the 8th inning. Underway in Anaheim, the Diamondbacks come up empty in their half of the first against the Angels. And getting underway in about 20 minutes in West Sacramento, Blue Jays and A's. Four game here, Phillies and Padres, bottom half of the 7th inning. For the Padres, it's going to be 9-1-2. Maldonado, Tatis, and Arise in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Still haven't seen that the Phillies are going to make a pitching change here, so we'll see if they do indeed send out Wheeler for the 7th inning. He's got 105 pitches. He's pretty high on the pitch count here through 6 innings. It will be Maldonado leading off in the bottom of the 7th for the Padres. He's 1 for 2. RBI single back in the 2nd. That was the final run in that 3-run second for the Padres. As you got a good one, and it is going to be a new pitcher for the Phillies. Looks like Tanner Banks is the new pitcher for the Phillies. Coming in with a 2-0 record. This is 40th appearance. ERA of 3.1. 40 and 2/3 innings. A great walk to strikeout ratio. 5 walks to 40 strikeouts for Tanner Banks on the season. And the first pitch to Maldonado from Banks is a strike. Banks delivering quickly. The 0-1 to Maldonado's fouled back, so Maldonado's in an 0-2 hole here. Banks looks and delivers the 0-2 pitch to Maldonado. Maldonado went around. That's strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night on 3 pitches. 1 away in the 7th, and we're back to the top of the order for the Padres in Fernando Tatis. Tatis hitless in 3 appearances tonight. Struck out 2 of those 3 times against Wheeler. And a strike here. Ground out in his other appearance at the plate. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Boy, Banks is bringing it. Oh-2 is fouled back, and we'll do another 0-2. Looking ahead to the Phillies' 8th inning, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Castellanos, Stott, and Real Muto in the 8th. Here's the 0-2, and another foul ball. Tatis stays alive. Luis Arraez on deck for the Padres. Oh-2 in the air to center field. Coming on is Marsh, but he's not going to get there. It drops in front of him. And Tatis with a 1-out single here in the bottom of the 7th for his first hit of the night. Go-ahead run is on for the Padres. And it will bring up Arraez. Great pitching matchup for the finale of this series tomorrow. Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies, who's 7-2 on the year. Nick Pivetta for the Padres, 9-2. Both pitchers well over the 100 strikeout mark. A great pitching matchup tomorrow to wrap up the series before we head to the All-Star break. Meeting on the mound here amongst the Phillies infield and the battery. Phillies bullpen starting to stir once again. Jordan Romano warming up for the Phillies in the pen. Here's Arraez stepping up for the Padres. He's 0-2. He was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd. And the lead at first, not a big one from Tatis, and Arraez takes low and inside, ball 1. Arraez takes strike 1, 1-1. Again, the Padres as a whole, not a real big base stealing team. As there's a base hit for Arraez into left center. Tatis rounds second and heads to third. It's 1st and 3rd for the Padres with 1 out in the 7th. So the Padres a big threat to take the lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning as they've got runners at the corners with 1 out. For Manny Machado. Machado hitless in 3 plate appearances tonight. All he needs is a fly ball to the outfield, and the Padres should retake the lead. And that looks like it's going to be it on the mound for Banks. Romano coming in for the Phillies in a little bit of a jam here in the 7th. It will be Jordan Romano coming in for the 37th time this year. One and 4 record for Romano. A little bit of an inflated ERA, 7.44. 32 and 2/3 innings. He's walked 14 and struck out 36. And inherits a little bit of a rough situation here with runners at first and third and 1 out, and a dangerous Manny Machado coming to the plate for the Padres. Update on that Rangers-Astros game. Rangers come up empty in the top of the 8th, so the Astros lead the Rangers 3-2 in Houston, bottom of the 8th inning. Diamondbacks empty in their half of the first in Anaheim. No score, Diamondbacks and Angels. We'll run down the complete baseball scoreboard once again here between innings. With the exception of the one more game coming out in West Sacramento between the Blue Jays and A's, all the other action took place earlier this afternoon. So Romano comes in trying to get out of this first and third pickle here for the Phillies. Manny Machado is 0 for 3 tonight. Those were all against Wheeler. Romano's first pitch to Machado, swing and a miss. Machado was swinging to make it 7-4 right there. Machado steps back in. Tatis at third, Arise at first. And the 0-1 pitch. Machado lifts it in the air to right, plenty deep enough to give the Padres the lead. Catch made out there, tagging from third is Tatis. Throw comes into second. Padres back in front, 5-4. Manny Machado with the sac fly. Drives in his 56th run of the year. And it'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Gavin Sheets. Sheets on the night is 1 for 3. He scored one of the 5 Padre runs in this game. Up and in to Sheets, ball 1. That run will be charged to Banks. Here comes the 1-0. Strike right down the middle, 1-1. Arise leads from first, and the 1-1 pitch from two Sheets is foul. Padres on that sac fly by Machado have grabbed the lead here, 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, a swing and a miss for strike 3, and Romano gets out of it with just the one run. We head to the 8th. Padres lead the Phillies 5-4. Phillies in the 8th inning. We'll have Castellanos, Stott, and Real Muto, 5, 6, 7 in the order. Coming up to bat. They're heading to the 9th in Houston. The Astros lead the Rangers 3-2. Angels have scored in the bottom of the first against the Diamondbacks. Angels lead that game 1-0. And another look at the finals from earlier today at Yankee Stadium. The Cubs beat the Yankees 5-2. Mariners all over the Tigers today, 15-7. Twins 12-4 over the Pirates. And again, the big story in that game, Byron Buxton hitting for the cycle, the first ever cycle in Target Field history, and on his bobblehead day. Braves win in St. Louis over the Cardinals 7-6. Marlins shut out the Orioles 6-0 at Camden Yards. Dodgers snapped their 7-game losing streak, beating the Giants 2-1 in the Bay Area. Reds, on an error in the bottom of the 9th, beat the Rockies 4-3. Red Sox win a pitcher's duel game over the Rays 1-0. Cleveland a winner over the White Sox 6-2. Mets win in Kansas City 3-1. And the Brewers beat the Nationals 6-5. And coming up here very shortly, in about 5 minutes, first pitch away between the Blue Jays and A's out in West Sacramento. On we go to the 8th here. The Padres, on the Machado sacrifice fly, have taken the lead 5-4 over the Phillies. Again, it'll be 5, 6, and 7 in the Phillies lineup due up. And Morgan back out there for the 8th for the Padres on the hill. And the first pitch to Castellanos misses high for ball 1. Defensive change for the Padres in left field. Bryce Johnson replacing Gavin Sheets out there in left. Second pitch hit to short. And the first out recorded as Bogaerts throws over to first for the out. 1 down in the Phillies' 8th inning, and it'll bring up Stott. Padres trying to hang on here and get it to their closer, Robert Suarez, in the 9th. Bryson Stott steps up for the Phillies. He's 0 for 3. And takes inside ball 1. But actually loosening right now in the Padres bullpen is Yuki Matsui. 1-0 on the way, in the air, center field. Coming on out there is the center fielder Merrill for the second out. 2 down in the inning, and it'll bring up JT Real Muto. He's 2 for 3 on the night for the Phillies. Double and a single, and he's drove in a run. There's a lot of batters getting frustrated. They are just missing on these pitches. That's about the 3rd or 4th batter. You could see the frustration there after they hit it, knowing they just missed it. Real Muto takes ball 1. Swing and a miss by Real Muto. It's now 1-1. Morgan delivers the 1-1 to Real Muto. Down low, 2-1. Kepler on deck for the Phillies. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. In the air to center. Coming on is Merrill. Again, he can't get it. It bounces. A 2-out single. And the tying run is on at first for the Phillies as Kepler will come up. Kepler's 0 for 2 on the night. He has reached on a walk and scored in the game. Boy, Merrill just missed a basket catch in center field. So here is Max Kepler. And that's going to be the end of the road for Morgan on the hill. Matsui coming in to pitch for the Padres. Trying to hold it right where it is. Matsui coming on for the 39th time on the year. It's 2-1. ERA just over 5.09 in 35 and a third innings. Matsui's walked 18, struck out 38. Does have 2 holds on the season. He's trying to get a third one here. And get it to his offense here in the bottom of the 8th, still leading by a run. Matsui, the 5th pitcher for the Padres tonight. Phillies have used 3 pitchers. Yu Darvish, the starter for the Padres, 4 2/3 innings. Gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. 5 hits, he walked 3, he struck out 2 through 83 pitches. He will get the no decision tonight. Hoeing came in and threw an inning and a third, gave up a hit. Wandy Peralta, 2/3 of an inning. Gave up a hit and walked 1. Morgan pitched an inning. He's given up a hit. He is responsible for the runner at first base. As Matsui in the game now. The Philly starter, Zach Wheeler, went 6. Gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. He will get a no decision tonight as well. Banks is on the hook for the loss right now if the Phillies do not come back. So here we go. Matsui trying to keep this a 1-run lead. And hit fouls. We have a pinch hitter here for the Phillies. Otto Kemp. Pinch hitting for Kepler. Kemp hitting at .250. 1 home run. He's drove in 11. Matsui looks and delivers the 0-1 pitch to Kemp. Swing and a miss. The bat goes flying too. And it's 0-2. But Kemp almost took out Marsh in the on-deck circle with the bat. Kemp is in an 0-2 hole. Marsh is on deck. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Kemp hits it foul to stay alive. Machado throws that foul ball into the stands, a souvenir for somebody. Tying run at first for the Phillies. 2 outs. A 5-4 Padre lead here in the 8th. And another 0-2 pitch coming from Matsui to Otto Kemp. Foul back again. Good battle here. Is Kemp staying alive? Kemp steps in again and awaits another 0-2 from Matsui. Kemp lines it into right. That's going to be a base hit. Rounding second and heading to third. For the Phillies is Real Muto, and 2 on now with 2 outs. Runners at the corners for the Phillies. A tying run 90 feet away for Brandon Marsh. So Marsh will step up with a chance to tie this game. Has a meeting here in the circle. Again, Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach for the Padres, out to talk to Matsui. Matsui has struggled here recently. Just needing 1 out. Brandon Marsh, the batter. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Matsui against Marsh. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 1. Tying run at third. Go ahead run at first. Tying run at third is Real Muto. The go ahead run at first is Otto Kemp. And the 1-0 pitch. In the air and popped up. Marsh frustrated. Just on the outfield grass, the catch is made and Matsui gets out of it. Phillies do not score in strand 2. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Padres 5 and the Phillies 4. Phillies have now left 8 men on base tonight. That's about the 5th time tonight that the batter has been frustrated knowing they just missed a big hit. So on we go here to the bottom of the 8th inning. And we're going to see a new Phillies pitcher here. It's going to be Matt Strahm. Matt Strahm is in for the 40th time this year. 1-3, 1-3 record with a 3.47 ERA, 36 in the 3rd innings, 10 walks, 42 strikeouts. Trying to keep it a 1-run game. Strahm does have or I should say averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got 42 strikeouts in 36 and a third innings. As it is going to be 5, 6, and 7 for the Padres. Bogarts, Merrill, and Cronenworth in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies' 4th pitcher of the night. Padres have used 5 pitchers. We'll probably see Suarez in the 9th for the Padres. Xander Bogaerts leading it off. He is 0 for 2 on the night. He has reached on a walk. Otto Kemp, who just came on as a pinch hitter in the top of the 8th inning, stays in the game to play left field for the Phillies. Matt Strom's first pitch to Bogaerts is low for a ball. 1-0, strike. 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Bogaerts fouls it back. It's now a ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch on the way from Strom to Bogaerts. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bogaerts went after a low one. And there's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. As Jackson Merrill will now step up. 2 home runs on the night for Merrill. 2-run shot in the 2nd. And a solo home run in the 6th. That one tied it before the Padres took the lead in the bottom of the 7th. Of course, if you have not heard, the All-Star Game is on Tuesday, and the All-Star Game is will be introducing the automated ball and strike counter. That's going to be interesting, to say the least. Merrill sends it to left. He's going to get a little under this one. Just missed his 3rd home run of the night as the catch is made out there in left field by Otto Kemp for the 2nd out. So the automated ball strike, only the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher can initiate a challenge. And the challenge must be requested immediately after the call. Each team will have 2 challenges and will keep them if successful. That's going to be we'll see how that goes. As I said, that's interesting. That's how the automated ball strike will go in the All-Star Game. Jay Cronenworth, 1 for 3. Steps up with 2 out, nobody on. Strike, 1-1. Looking ahead to the Phillies' 9th inning, it's going to be the top of the order. Turner, Schwarber, and Harper coming up. Cronenworth fouls that back. Strom's 1-2 pitch to Cronenworth. Outside, 2-2. 2-2, up and tight. Full count now, 3-2. Payoff pitch to Cronenworth from Strom. Got him. Cronenworth strikes out in a 1-2-3 eighth inning from Strom. We head to the ninth. Turner, Schwarber, Harper is who the Padres will have to retire. They lead at 5-4. So with the lineup coming up, the Padres are going to have to earn this one. If the Padres do hang on and win here, David Morgan's going to get credit with the win. Banks would get the loss for the Phillies. Those are the pitchers of record right now. It is actually not going to be Suarez coming on in the ninth for the Padres. It's going to be Jeremiah Estrada coming on for the 46th time. He's 3-4. Does have 2 saves on the season. He's looking for his third. ERA of exactly 3 flat. Walked 16, struck out 59 in 42 innings. He's going to have to do it against the big 3 of the Phillies batting order. Estrada, the 6th pitcher for the Padres tonight. He's going to have to retire Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, clinging to the narrowest of leads. As Trey Turner leads it off in the ninth, he is 1-for-4 on the night. The Rangers tied it up in the top of the ninth against the Astros. That game is 3-3 now. Diamondbacks have tied up the Angels 1-1. Blue Jays come up empty in the top of the first against the A's. So here we go. Trey Turner leading it off in the ninth for the Phillies. Against Estrada, ball 1. Although Estrada has 2 saves, he has blown 3 on the year. And now he's behind Turner 2-0. Turner doubled in the 7th, but was stranded on the base paths. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike, 2-1. Two-one pitch. That's fouled off the catcher's mouth of, I think, off of Maldonado and the umpire's mask. Two and two. Got more of the ump than it did Maldonado. Looks all right back there. 2-2 the count to Turner. And here comes the 2-2 from Estrada. Swing and a miss. He got him. 1 away in the ninth. And it'll bring up Schwarber. Schwarber 0 for 3 on the night. He has reached on a walk. the one time he has reached base tonight. Schwarber takes strike one. Estrada's 0-1 to Schwarber. Up high, 1-1. Schwarber fourth in the National League in home runs with 30. Or fourth in the major leagues in home runs with 30. Second in the National League. 2-1 as that pitch misses low. Harper is on deck. And the 2-1. Inside, now 3-1 on Schwarber. Schwarber looks on, and Estrada's 3-1 pitch. Fly ball rather, to left field. The catch made out there for out number 2, and there's 2 outs in the 9th. It's going to be up to Bryce Harper. Last hope for the Phillies. Boy, Schwarber just missed one too. The crowd rises at Petco. Harper is 1 for 2. He's doubled and walked twice. Reached base 3 times tonight. On the ground to first. And takes it himself. And the Padres have won the first 2 over the Phillies, as they get a hard-fought 5-4 win tonight. And they look for the series sweep tomorrow, heading into the All-Star break. Padres with win number 52 on the season. Phillies dropped to 54-41. Morgan got the win on the year. He's now 1-1. Estrada picks up his 3rd save. Banks suffers the loss for the Phillies. It's his first loss of the season. He's now 2-1. Phillies left 8 men on base tonight. The Padres left 5, and the sacrifice fly by Manny Machado in the bottom of the 7th, the game-winning RBI for the Padres, as they will look for the series sweep tomorrow against the Phillies. Took game 1 last night 4-2. Take this one tonight 5-4 over the Phillies. Before we end the stream tonight, one final look at the scoreboard on the day around Major League Baseball. Cubs beat the Yankees in the Bronx 5-2. Mariners 15-7 win over the Tigers. Twins 12-4 over the Pirates. Again, Byron Buxton hitting for the cycle in that game. First ever cycle hit at Target Field. Braves beat the Cardinals in St. Louis 7-6. Marlins shut out the Orioles 6-0. Dodgers snapped their 7-game losing streak with a 2-1 win over the Giants. Reds win at 4-3 over the Rockies on an error in the bottom of the 9th. Red Sox 1-0 over the Rays. Cleveland a 6-2 win over the White Sox. Mets win in Kansas City 3-1. Brewers over the Nationals 6-5. Of course, the Padres win this one 5-4. They are heading to the bottom of the 10th in Houston. Rangers and Astros 3-3. Diamondbacks and Angels 1-1, bottom of the 3rd in Anaheim. And Blue Jays and A's scoreless after 1 in West Sacramento. Again, the final in this one, Padres beat the Phillies 5-4. Again, my name is John, Sports Bonanza John, my YouTube handle. If you like my content, would appreciate a like and subscribe on that page. I'm also on Kick tonight, Sports Kick John, and on my Twitch handle as well, Sport Guru John. You can find me on any of those sites. Gonna take a week off here. Busy schedule coming up this week for me, but I'm planning on being back with you this coming Saturday evening, a week from tonight, for a stream between the Red Sox and the Cubs. Going to be live streaming a lot of baseball here over the summer before get into full swing with football season coming up here just over a month from now. Again, my stream tonight, 5-4. The Padres beat the Phillies. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Again, my name is John, Sports Bonanza John. Appreciate a like and subscribe there if you would. And I'll talk to you here in about a week or so on next Saturday night. I'm planning for a Red Sox Cubs stream. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great evening. God bless.